So any of you that have been here before, almost every single time that we have a presentation and I'm presenting, we talk about the 5 steps of the sale. The reason that I do that is because I've learned through a lot of painful interviews with clients that almost no one in the small business space understands the sales process and how to apply it to their content. So they understand that PowerPoint sucks. They understand they need to create content. They understand that they have WordPress. They understand that they need SEO. They understand that they have clients that need to service these clients. But what unites all of these, like the spoke of the wheel, is the sales process. If you cannot lead your client from one concept to another on your website, then your sales process is fatally flawed. What happens on most websites is people essentially fall down a well. They go into this well of ideas or content or introduction or rapport building, the first 2 steps of the sale, and they end up in a place where there's nowhere else to go, and so they leave. There's no next step to take. There's no deeper understanding of the real problems that you solve. It's more like a brochure that you would sit in a doctor's office and read. That's what we're addressing today. It's how to set up a WordPress page, both structurally and from a content standpoint, where it works well for the people that are reading. Now, you're very blessed. You probably don't realize it yet. You're very blessed to have some pros in there. Okay, there's some people in here. I'll let you talk to them a little bit later. And we can connect through email and everything. I'm not going to take a lot of time to do that now. But there's some people in here that know their stuff really well. They speak on stages. They are agency owners. They've been training salespeople and sales process companies for a lot of time. So this is a good room. And I've already talked to these people about jumping in. You have carte blanche. Everybody else does too, but understand that when these people speak, it's gospel, okay? They know their stuff hands down. And they charge a lot of money too. So it's a really awesome day. I'm really excited about that. I forgot to mention that. I get 20%, right? Okay, so we're going to try this one more time and see if this works. We're going to try this one more time and see if it works. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to just go through it with no slides. 5 steps of the sale. My contention is not that these are the only 5 steps of the sale, but rather that if you have 5 steps or 100 steps in your sales process, these 5 steps are always going to be present. Okay? Yeah, all right. So, no slides. So, 5 steps of the sale. We're going to go through this fast, okay? So you can take notes or have a really great memory. Step 1, greeting. It's the widest point of the funnel. It's where you're going to talk to the most people. I don't care if you're on social media, if you're on your WordPress site, if you're in paid search, I don't care where you are online, this is fundamentally and universally true. In the greeting stage, you're going to talk to the most people, okay? And the most people are going to say no at this stage. If you're writing your content correctly. Most of us fear the no. I don't know if you're like me. If you're like me, you fear the no. I fear rejection. I don't like it. I like to be liked. I like to be right. And I like affirmation. And no doesn't fit that definition. Okay? So, this is rejection right here, man. Tell you what.
You're handling it pretty good.
Yeah, thank you.
PowerPoint is saying no.
That's
right.
Anybody who thinks they know how to fix that, you're welcome to. Just don't crash my computer or pull water out. So, what does no mean? No actually means you're getting closer to yes. In cold calling, industry standard, and you can correct me on this if you don't know this number, industry standard in cold calling is about 4 out of 100. Good cold callers will close about 4 out of 100. So 96 times, if you're doing your job right, you're a superstar, you're going to be told no 96 times. You should welcome that. You have to learn to take that as a yes. It's a yes that's coming. It's like the choo-choo in the train. You hear the choo-choo long before you see the train. Choo-choo is no. Here's the train. See? It happens every time. Okay? So greetings, widest point of the funnel, you're going to talk to the most number of people, right? So the next step of the sale, I combine 2 steps, and a lot of sales trainings are separated. And I'll tell you why I put them together. They are rapport building and investigation. Rapport building and investigation. Rapport building is, Michael, you and I sit down, we talk, we have coffee, we talk about fishing and all the things we love in life, and it's a sunny day, and family and Austin and all these wonderful things. We leave this meeting, as friends, as people who like each other. But we're no closer to doing a deal other than know, like, and trust, which is overrated in my opinion. It's used a lot just to say if you network and shake enough hands, you're going to be okay. But that's not really true. So why do I combine investigation with rapport building? Investigation is the process, and it would be really awesome if I have my slides right now. It's the process of learning whether or not this is a good fit for you. Now, what do you want when you're in your investigation phase? You want the thing that we really, like, in our souls don't want, which is a hard no. If they are not the right fit. How do you get a hard no? How do you get a definitive no? Anyway. Listening, that's a good start. You have to have a, go ahead.
You have to teach them how to buy so they know how to.
There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to the end so we can get into the other stuff. You have to have a very clear value proposition. Yours.
Yay! Bravo.
No, don't let him touch it. Don't let him touch it.
Hey, get a clicker.
No, I should be fancy enough a clicker, but I do not. All right, so this is one of my favorite slides in this whole thing. I use the FBI because they're an entire organization dedicated to the proposition of investigating, right? Investigating situations and learning minutiae. They're the first ones that did all the profiling and stuff, so they would say, we know this guy is this. You know, then they catch the guy and he's all those things. He's a white male, 45, lives alone, divorced. It's like, how do you know here? I'm 46. So screw you. Every page used to be a lumberjack, so wrong. Every shelf in this room is filled with boxes. Every one of these boxes are filled with folders, and every one of these folders is filled with paper. Each one of these pieces of paper represents hours of human endeavor dedicated to investigation. This is exactly how you should look at your clients, your prospects. You should be investigating what moves them in relation to the problem you solve. A really great thing to ask yourself, what are the top 5 fears about your product or service that motivate your customer to buy? What are the top 5 bad experiences people have had in the past with buying your product or service? The reason those 2 are great is, number 1, fear is one of our biggest motivators. So if you find the fear that is located in your sales process, in your product or service, then you're going to uncover really a gold mine. Because you can understand. Now, I'm not telling you to manipulate people through fear. That's not what I'm saying. But what I've seen throughout my history with small business owners is all say, I don't want to sell on fear. And that's fine, but you don't be things till the day you die. It's an infinite process, right? I can not be lots of things. I can not be all these people. I can drive down the road and not be all the people that I'm driving by, okay? So you have to define what you do want to be. And one of the things you have to understand is how fear operates in your customer's life. If you don't understand that, you're going to miss some things in the sales process, okay? So the next thing is, what are people's previous experiences with your product or service? This is really important because people are going to attach a lot of, who does SEO in here? Besides Tommy. Tommy does SEO. You've done some. A ton. So, yes. So the point of SEO is as bad as used car sales. There's a lot of slimy people in SEO. And so when I was selling with SEO, I knew this going in. I didn't try to overcome that objection, which is a mistake a lot of salespeople make. I took that and I came in and said, I know you've experienced this before. This is who I am. Okay? So I prepared for that. And I would do the same with my content if I was selling SEO. Okay? So investigation, know your people. Know how they think and what they do, how they operate. Okay? This is a very important step, probably the biggest one. Probably all salespeople, but small business owners especially make this mistake of skipping the step or going light on it. The next thing is, anybody recognize this? Any comic
books.
Yes, yes. When I was a kid, I wanted to be this magic dude so bad. I wanted to pull a rabbit out of a hat. I never even seen a rabbit like in person. I wanted to pull one out of a hat really bad. And I tried to buy it several times and it never worked out. Why did I want to buy this? because of the copy. The copy promised these things. And if you think about it, they're all presenting this solution to my need, and they're being very direct about it. So the value proposition is very clear. So some of you in this room, as you're looking at this, you're not vibing with this at all. That's exactly what you want. You want copy that turns off your non-audience, right? So this, though, is a presentation. This is the first time that in your copy, you should pull out a possible solution to the problem. Now, a lot of this stuff happens on the same page because copy and SEO and all this stuff, it's much more muddled than a standard fixed sales process because a lot of times, steps 1, 2, and 3 have all happened before they ever get to your page. So you have to understand that. But with that caveat, I'm going to finish those 5 steps. You present, evidently that's already, you don't like math. Either you do, and you're responding so strongly. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you. This blog brought to you by, anyway, presentation is, hey, I've talked to you, I've heard what you said. If you're like a lot of my customers, you feel this, you're tired of this, and this might be a fit for you. Now, one tactic you can use is to have 3 different buttons at that point on that page, and you can give people 3 options to take. And this will put they self-identify into these buckets. Now, a little bit later, Brian's really big conversion guy, and I'd like to visit a little bit about buttons and what knowledge you have on that. I've asked Brian and a few other people that are really knowledgeable in these fields not to make me look like an idiot. So he's probably thinking about how I'm going to couch this. You have to work hard right now. You have to work really hard not to make it. So
They mentioned the credit card earlier.
I already paid you, bro. I'm not paying you again. Presentation is this might be a fit for you. Okay? A path is very important in your copy, in your sales process too, but in your copy most importantly, because you can't be there present to catch any of your misses, right? People are going to bounce off your website fast. Even if it is clear, sometimes they're going to bounce. So you've got to be able to catch whatever's going on your site, on that page. And if you're doing your SEO right, a lot of times people are landing on your deep page. They're not running through your home page. They're going straight to your deep page. So you've got to have your process in place there to catch every lead that's possible to catch. Because I'll tell you one thing, I experienced this last night, ironically. I was looking for something online. I went to a page, had good information, no contact. There was no ability to contact the owner of that page. So they left me in the position, and to me, this scares me to death as both a content producer and a business owner. It scares me to think about somebody going to a page and having to take another step to go hunting for a way to contact them. That should scare you, and you should take steps to fix it. So demonstration, how does your shiny object work? How is this going to make my life better? So in copy or in the sales process, it would be, I've heard you, Carlos, we've been talking. If I understand you right, you have this problem. I believe this might be a solution for you. If you're like a lot of my customers, you feel this might be your solution. This is being bullet point. Exactly how it's going to make your life better. This is exactly how the cost structure works. The higher ticket your item is, the more involved you need to be in this process. That goes back to my contention that this is not all steps of the sale. The higher ticket your sales price is, a lot of times you're going to have more sales steps in the presentation and demonstration phase. Okay? So understand that, but you're demonstrating how this is going to make my life better. People buy on emotion and they justify with logic. The higher ticket you have, the more this ratio is out of balance. So they're going to buy your concept on the emotion. This is going to make me feel better about X. Then I need to demonstrate. Logic needs to come in behind it and make me feel good about my purchase. Okay? Again, this is not manipulation. This is truth. This is how people's minds work. If you think about any big purchase you made, especially if you made a bad purchase, you talk yourself into it. That's emotion. I did this with television. First big TV I bought, I'm like, I need this TV because it's a smart TV and I will be able to surf the internet on it. I can use it as an extra computer. I can optimize my YouTube videos on it. I can use it as a second screen. And my kids can watch educational stuff on it. Now, I don't have kids, but if I had kids, they could totally watch stuff on the TV. Now, none of that really matters. I want the TV to run with big, giant, high-definition TV. I want to see the scenes rotate on the fastball as they're doing the slow motion. I want to see the logo come around and read the logo on it. That's awesome to me. That's what I wanted. That's the emotional fulfillment I wanted. So I bring all this truckload of logic in behind it to justify my purchase, right? So understand that how it works with the people, because it's in these two steps that it's operational. So there's a really important concept that is really a little bit of an aside from today, but it's very important. Don't fall in love with your baby. Any of you that have kids, that's going to sound very counterintuitive. But what happens is, as small business owners, we go, look, I sell these bats. My father built these bats before me, and I raised my son to take over this business and build these bats also. This is great. Look at this bat. It's awesome. Look at it. So it becomes about me. Even if it's a successful business, you see this on Shark Tank and the Profit all the time. You see people that are successful, they're making money. But when he says, you need to change this, they don't disagree, they get offended. Why do they get offended? Because it's their baby. It's about them. You must make your fulfillment process, whatever it is, product or service, all about the customer and not about you. It's not your baby, let it be the customer's baby. Now, closing is what everybody fears. If you have to explain it more once and you're doing it wrong. Everybody fears the close. I had an awesome meeting one day that really brought this burst of lightning into my brain. I was standing in a networking group. I had my little light in my hand. The guy that I was talking to was a sales trainer. He had this very sophisticated glass of Chardonnay or whatever it is. It was sophisticated. Chardonnay sounds sophisticated to me. So any of you that know wine go, this guy. It's all about Merlot or whatever it is. I don't know. And he said to me, I was sitting in a room yesterday with 10 salespeople who all feared the close. And I was just thinking as I was talking to him how a customer fears being sold. So this image came into my head of these two poor people sitting across the table. The salesperson fears being told no. The customer fears being sold the wrong thing or being sold or being talked into something. So you have all this fear present at this stage, and the reality is if you do the first 4 steps, this stage is painless. I've walked out of many sales meetings with people who didn't buy from me and were profusely apologizing because we had come through the process and they had identified it because they had to need some other thing kept them from purchasing. But because I did my job right, they felt the emotional need of the problem they wanted to solve, and they knew they told me they wanted to solve it, so they apologized because they didn't buy it. Because I had done the first 4 steps. So at this point, there's no real effort involved here. Okay? And it's the same on your website. You should have people calling you that are prepared by your content for the sale. Okay? So I'm setting the table with this. That's the whole point of everything that I'm doing here, is we're setting the table to now talk about content. Because if you're not prepared with this content, it can be a waste of energy, a big, huge waste of energy. Hillary works with a lot of people, and a lot of you guys that are working with clients, you work with people who produce content, and they'll put a year's worth of effort into it. You look at it, it's like most of this is useless. Because it doesn't do any of this stuff. It just tells some rambling story. It's like your uncle at the family or a wedding, when he starts doing the blessing or whatever. He's just talking about stuff, especially if you had a couple of drinks. They'll start talking about things, and an hour later, they still haven't blessed the couple, right? That's the way a lot of content is. So let's talk about actual WordPress page development. Now, what I've done is I've pulled a page from a project that I'm working on, and there's one last thing. I'm not going to show the slide. Perfect. My definition of a sale, this is my personal definition that I use and I think about all the time. A sale happens when the right solution meets the right problem at the right time. And that's a really great framework, really simple, easy to remember to take all your content. Okay? Right solution, right problem, right time. If any one of those 3 is not present, it's not a sale. It's something else. If a sale happens, it's something else. It's not a sale. Okay? So let's get into this side. I'm going to give you a little bit of history behind this website. I took this over for a friend of mine in Dallas who owns a remodeling company. And he, for about a year, I've been saying, dude, let me take this over because it's not performing for you at all. It's not doing anything. The copy is just awful. I mean, it's almost like a clinic in how to create bad copy. I mean, it's everything bad you can put in one website. For a website that most people on the street would go, that's a nice looking website. But it's just awful. So he does remodeling. Now, any of you who know your stuff, you're going to look at that header and go, that's really ugly. My guys made some changes last night, and they jacked up the header, and I wasn't able to get it corrected before today. I was like, man, I'm like, messed up. Anyway, so that header's ugly. I know it's ugly. I agree with you that it's ugly. Let's give it a view. Yes.
Just let me talk about the header. It's ugly.
Can
Okay, what was that statement?
somebody get our other beers up here?
I don't care about that.
So,
Sorry, Nate.
live a living. You classic. So one of the big things here that is really bad, that I would jump all over a client if they brought me aside to have this, is the navigation tabs are not separated and bright. They're not. You can't really read them very well.
Navigation.
Where is it?
I can't see.
Yeah, that's the
Green
point.
on green, why can't you read that?
Hey, it's dark green on green. Everybody can read that. The point of what we're doing today is I'm going to bring this text to bear, okay, and we're going to talk about this. Now, all of you who don't have a lot of experience in this stuff, feel free to jump in and ask questions or even posit a theory. If you have a thing like, I don't like that or whatever, it's great. Bring it up. But if you take a hard position, be ready for people to answer that because there's people who know their stuff, okay? So let's get started. This is about bathroom remodeling. One of the things I'll tell you strategically what this is about, the home page, I don't know if I have the home page up. He used to have a slider on the home page. Now on mobile, the landscape nature of the slider caused it to shrink down. Now he already had a very busy slider. He had about 7 different images mashed together on his slider. And his thinking, the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of business owners make this mistake, which is to say, we need to include everything because somebody might miss something and then not do business with us. And it's exactly the polar opposite. You want to speak very clearly so that people can say yes or no. Remember, you want the no. The no is good for you. How many people are cold? Okay, not enough to turn it down yet. It'll come in a minute. As soon as like all the people in the room are like, then we have to turn it down.
Carousels or sliders will almost always decrease your conversion rate.
Say it again, please, sir. Brian.
Carousels or sliders will almost always decrease your conversion rates on a page. The sliding header image, where you can't decide what the main thrust of the page is, so you get 4 or 5, you rotate. Everybody does it, and it's the first thing we take off.
Right. One of the big
What
things.
are you replacing?
Static image, or we can do a series of tests that puts the most interesting call to action first, and so that we can get the slider actually outperform the old. But it has to be the right order. It has to be with the most arrow distance.
Did you randomize?
Nope. It's not randomized, because that's what most of them are. It's like, there's 2 issues. Number 1, the time.
Can I stop you?
Those big images.
Real quick, what did you just ask?
Did you randomize the images or the, if you're putting the sliders in here?
So you asked me if you did that test?
Could you? Would
Well,
it
could
be?
you?
Okay. Yeah,
Well,
could you?
usually we use one individually, and then we take the highest frame.
So I'm restating this for the camera. This is recorded, so as soon as I get it online, you're welcome to copy it. Not to keep, you'll be on YouTube. It's mine. You can have it. I'm restating what Brian just said to make sure the camera can hear. Brian was talking about how sliders don't convert, carousels don't convert. You can correct me on this. And YouTube probably. My definition of the difference between a carousel and a slider is a slider is actually whole image is being replaced, where a carousel a lot of times will rotate within or whatever, some kind of colon on the page. You want this accurate?
I hear
Okay,
I
that works. Okay.
Some fade, some slide, some.
So another big problem that I encounter with sliders, and feel free again to jump in, is that if you're doing your job right, you're putting text on the slider image. One of the reasons for this is your images all index in Google, and people will do an image search, or they'll accidentally be on images and do a search. And if your image is optimized in the right category, the right vertical, and everything happens right, your image will come up on first page. So your value proposition, it's a good idea to have your value proposition, some version of it, on the image itself. Now, when you have a slider, what happens on mobile? It's landscape, and it gets resized, or not really resized, it gets shrunk down, so that text becomes really tiny on mobile. So your value proposition gets lost. So even if I wrote a blog post recently about how mobile friendly might not be. And this is one of those cases where your website will actually pass the mobile friendly test because your image is already sizing, that's true. But your actual value proposition and your sales process are not mobile friendly. And it's because your value proposition gets shrunk down to the point it can't be read. It can't be read how people going to buy on it, right? Okay. Do you feel like that's good? Is that good information? Does that pass the test? Yes. Awesome. So I'm going to show you, this is the home page now. If I was super duper prepared, more prepared than I am now, I would show you an image of what it used to look like, but I'm not going to take the time to do that. But take my word on it. There was one slider image across where these were, bunch of images in it with this tiny text in italic font. Brian, does italic font convert well?
It's harder to read.
It's hard to read. Okay. I heard a guy say on a stage, and he sounded authoritative, and I believe it. If your text is hard to read, people subliminally will attach to you and your business that you're hard to deal with. Or they'll just bounce out and go read text they can actually read. One of those two things is going to happen. Okay? So I want clear text. I want clear pictures because, why? Why do I want clear pictures here if it's remodeling?
That's your product.
That's part of it, but where is that product happening? Someone's house. How much do people care about where they live? How much emotion is attached to where they live? What?
80%.
I'm only 140. But I get what you tried to tie back into my 80-20. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
It's the sweet spot.
Okay, so how many in here have had their house remodeled at any point in your life? How many in that group have had a bad experience, even if the end of it was good? How did that feel?
We are no longer together. We co-parent.
Wow.
Did not see that coming. I did not plan that, just so everybody knows. I did not plan that.
Go remodel.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, we're great friends. We just.
I'm not laughing that you're married, so I just want to make that clear for the camera.
If it was off camera.
I want people to be able to look at this and immediately think, because what if people thought before they got here? What are they thinking about?
Well, if your photos aren't good and they're out of focus, and I'm looking to remodel my home, I want to let you in one of my most cherished possessions,
That's it.
which is my home, and your pictures look like crap. I'm not letting you in my home. Right.
Right?
And if I don't have a lot of money, I might be looking at these things going, oh, these guys are too high.
And what does that do?
Makes me go away, which is what you want.
Exactly. I want my
Yes.
non-optimized client to leave kindly. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Exactly. Because they're not my perfect client. I want to create copy and images and an experience where they will leave if they want to immediately identify. And this is higher end remodeling. It's not the highest, but it's higher. They specialize in really high end components and things, and that's what we want to convey. Now this isn't perfect, but what this is each one of these images are separated. They're not together. And what happens is on mobile, these stack vertically, and these are sized. Tell you an easy trick to use if you want to know what size to use on your images. Show them on Instagram. Instagram is optimized for mobile to fill the screen, right? So we sized those for Instagram so that they fit well on a mobile device. Now, the next thing, and we're going to get into a little bit of this about on the actual page itself. These Yelp and House. Anybody unfamiliar with House? You do not know what House is. Okay, I did not know what House was before. They burst on the scene and dominated the remodeling market. It's a really remarkable tool because what they do is essentially they make remodelers who are horrible at tech, they make them relevant on tech, online and on mobile by the way they optimize their site and everything. So, but they had these, this was a little bit, and the funniest thing, any of you who build websites or work with clients, you're going to love this. Check Us Out on House was so tiny, and Yelp was just a little bit smaller. Down in the footer, buried under all these images. And then Check Us Out on House actually had a question mark on it. So check us out on House. I have no idea where that came from. Nobody can tell me what happened. But so we made them bigger, we moved them up in the page. What I want somebody to go, oh, cool, kitchen remodeling, bathroom remodeling, hardwood floors, oh, nice. Check out our reviews on Yelp and House. Now, I really don't want them to leave. What I want them to do is click on those images. But if they don't, the next thing I want them to do is see how much people love us, right? Then below. But if they even scroll, that's great. Now, this part down in here, this copy's awful. It hasn't been rewritten yet. And I apologize to the general web building universe because we're still doing that. Another thing that's very interesting, this is another thing that you should check. Anytime you're working on your website, check it on Chrome, Internet Explorer, and Firefox. Because stuff like this happens. We can't figure out why on some versions of Chrome, our Facebook page doesn't populate here. It does on Safari, and it does on Firefox, but it does not do it on some versions of Chrome. About 50%. So check you never know how another browser is populating your website.
Mac and PC.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. But this is across both platforms, and we don't know why. We haven't figured it out yet. So let's get to our bathroom remodeling page. So what I want is all these images are clickable. I want people to click on this image. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out, I don't know which one to attach yet, Brian. Maybe you can speak to this.
You have an add-on there for the pinning it? Is that like an add-on there?
That is from an extension that I have in Chrome that it pins straight to.
It's your browser technology.
Right. It's not about the site. Yeah. Buffer, Hootlet, and pin. I might have too many. I don't know. I want to put something on this image that says click on the image to learn more about this. So we all have probably seen learn more, read more, click on the image, right? Everybody's familiar with this, right? Anybody not familiar with what I'm talking about? Okay, great. Can you speak to that? What does not convert? Because you told me once, it's about 3 years ago, that read more doesn't convert very well. And that surprised me and made me rethink a lot of what I was doing. But I'd like to know just currently, what's the hottest thing now?
So this is the
Homepage.
This is the top step of your process, which was called
Greeting.
So it's greeted. You can see what you do.
Yes.
The next step is
Rapport building and investigation.
Rapport building and
But a lot of
investigation.
this, in search, it happens almost instantly. All that just happens.
Yeah, but at this point, I'm exploring either your business or your capabilities.
Sure.
So what do you want people to do with next?
Well, so I want them to click on, in this case today, bathroom remodel.
And what are they going to get if they click on that?
A page with a lot more information about bathroom remodeling. That's what we're about to go build.
Is it explore our offering, see
Tell them about it.
See our clients, see
All
our
that.
past work, see
All that.
examples.
All that, yeah.
We got to pick one because it's got to be the right step.
Okay.
And your call to action has to be specific to whatever's next. So,
Okay.
See our portfolio.
Okay.
At some point, there's going to be find out how our bonding and insurance is.
So let me. I'm going to give a nutshell version of this right now, so you can speak a little more clearly to what I want to put on this image. What we're about to get into is a lot of what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it really fast. So I always embed testimonials. That's one of my tactics. I want to sprinkle testimonials throughout my content so that no matter where you are, you get this little picture of, hey, they're great, they're awesome, they're great, they're awesome. Social proof, other people like you have used their services, and you would love them if you use them because we love them. I want that message throughout the site. I don't want all that pushed to just a testimonial page. I don't have a testimonial page. I think we actually do have one, but I want it throughout the site because I want them always to have exposure to that. They're gonna have Yelp and house on every page because that's gonna be in the footer.
People don't put a lot on testimonial.
No, I agree. That's why we put them in content. So a lot of the stuff you're talking about, they're going to get all that essentially on that page. As we walk through the different ideas of bathroom remodeling, what I'm essentially trying to do is with this page, this is, and you can tell me this is flawed, I don't know. What I want to do is I want to walk somebody through the process and expose them to possibly some things they haven't thought about. I want to get my bathroom remodeled. Why do you want to get your bathroom remodeled? You know, the door hits the commode when you enter the bathroom. I'm tired of that. The toilet is right up against the wall, and I can't reach the toilet paper dispenser. It's right here under my elbow.
So your call to action would be like understanding the remodeling process, understanding the
Learn more about the bathroom
process.
remodeling. Yes.
I have a bathroom remodel client, and they are different in that they don't spend weeks in a home. It's just a matter of days. So
Okay.
on there, I would say, or something about having, how would you word that? Like,
Our average remodeling project beginning ends, and I like to build visualization. So I like to say from the beginning of the process to when we're pulling your door closed.
Yeah.
It's 5 days,
But
rather than at
but
industry
as a
average.
button, to like use it as a button, would that be an appropriate place for a button?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe under this, if it was just bathroom remodeling, one of these images would be, we're fast. How fast? Click here. Maybe.
So I'm like a 60-year-old when it comes to technology. So I really am. No disrespect to anyone. But my.
Are you implying that somebody in here is over 60?
I don't know, but I'm really bad at it. But I had to ask my parents who were like way older than me for help. It's really sad.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
it's really sad.
That's funny.
So when you're doing the click here or going to read more, is that because you're trying to push out the people that you don't want as clients away, and the people that are interested in being a client, they will click on that?
So for me, I'm looking, and anybody can speak to this, but I'll speak first. I always think of people putting themselves in a bucket. They're self-identifying. I am one of these people. I want people to raise their hand and go, I am one of these people. Because I can track that on Google Analytics. I can see where page movement happens. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do here. Brian or anybody else can speak to that as well.
It would be great if you could integrate your, so everybody does bathroom remodeling. I'm gonna go to 10 sites, they're all gonna say bathroom remodeling. If it said, upgrade your bathroom, upgraded bathrooms, without upgraded construction or, what do you call it when you charge for the hours?
Later.
Labor. Upgraded bathroom without the upgraded labor. Something like that is going to give you an idea how you're different.
Yeah. But again, if we only did bathroom remodeling, I could have that on one of these images. I could dedicate one of these images to that concept, right? So I could have my nice bathroom remodeling. Huh?
It's the same thing for each other.
Well, okay, so if my concern on this is I want the image to pop, and if I have too much text on here, then it covers up my image. That's my concern. I could be wrong, but so tell me if I am. On this image, how do I get more concept with limited coverage? Because I want all this stuff to shine.
Well, you need to use as much space as it takes to communicate the message.
Okay.
So people know scroll. So there might be a design issue that you are very with. High-end components, low-end labor, so
Okay.
you need to. The thing this doesn't do is each step brings me closer to your value proposition.
Yeah.
It seems to me like so far you're missing the space that actually is the overall message and call to action.
Yes.
So you have your four pieces, and best I can tell, and how many people should, is those are probably all should go to a gallery. And then there probably should be a section above that really is the reason you want to work, the reason you want to remodel your house. Why do most people want to remodel their house?
Yeah.
Realistically, it's to increase the value of the home.
Sure.
And so
And better
maybe
usability.
it's how to increase the value of your home by 10 times or whatever.
Sure.
And then that goes to a page that talks about bathrooms are the number one thing you can do to raise value. Kitchens are the number
That's
two.
where your API files come in.
Sure.
So nobody wants to remodel.
Right.
Has ever wanted to remodel anything ever.
Right.
Right.
They want something to look better, they want something to feel better, they want something to be upscale, they want to increase the value of their house.
Yeah.
Nothing on this page hints at any of those things.
I'm going to get into exactly what I'm trying to do, so I'm going to lay my strategy out for you right after this, and you can tell me just think of it.
That's not, I mean, I'm thinking along the lines of like, see what we can do for you. So it's, and then we can kind of get into, okay, here's our projects, here's how we work.
Right.
And then to your question is, I mean, you want a call to action, you want something that draws people to saying, this is what I want you to do. You want to come with me,
Yes.
right?
So then click it.
Yes,
Okay, that makes
yes.
sense.
The biggest, honestly, it's kind of one of those, you got to dumb it down to a 5-year-old level. I want them to know that image is clickable. Some people just don't, it doesn't occur to them. They just scroll right past it. I want them to know they can click on the image. Okay? So now I'm going to share a little bit of tactically, strategically. Everybody understand the difference between strategy and tactics? Strategies, I want to go to that hill. Tactics is how I'm going to get there. Okay? So this is in flux, by the way. I just took this over about a month ago. The site wasn't even on WordPress. We had to convert it over to a mobile theme in WordPress and keep the site looking as close to the same as possible. So that was the first thing. And then I had to start reworking literally every component of the website. All the images. One of the things he had on here in the footer was just a picture of carpet samples. I have no idea what that was supposed to do.
Because who uses that?
Well, I understand that, but carpet samples? What do carpet samples make you want to do? Not go to Home Depot. What makes you want to do? I just think about how bad I hate going to Home Depot. So everything on this site, all the content, all the buttons, all the images, all the conversion elements have had to be redone. And we're still in the process of doing that. But I'll tell you where I am right now. Number one, I know a giant thing is the byline, the tagline of the site, which is the core of the brand, is not present. I know that. I'm still working towards that. These other things to me are way bigger. So the first thing I want is functionality on mobile. I want clear functionality on mobile. That's the first thing. That's why. Why do I want that? Pardon? What?
Because most people are looking you up on mobile and never seeing it.
Over half of all search now is on mobile. And in certain demographics, it's more like 75 or 80%. I'll tell you one of the shocking things that I've learned recently is that in less, let's say, more countrified demographics, mobile's actually higher, not lower. And the reason is, well, it's a little bit, to me, it's a little more surprising. I mean, it's obvious, but surprising. The reason is because people can't afford a $2,000 high-end computer. They can, through a mobile company, get a really nice phone for like $12 a month. So they're doing their search on mobile because it's a better experience for them. So your demo goes higher. So I've got a friend who I do some consulting for. They own a buy here, pay here lot. All thoughts about that are confirmed. But they are in Weatherford, Texas. And so a lot of their people don't have a lot of money. They all search on mobile. It's like 85-90% of all their search happens on mobile. So one of the things I talk about a lot is go look at your site on mobile. Step 2 is go look at your site on mobile. Step 3, you better look at your site on mobile. Because if it's not working on mobile, you're losing half or more of your conversion. Okay? So that's number one. I want it to look really good on mobile. I want, these have been the most chief things so far. I want Yelp and House to be a lot more prominent. The phone number was not clickable, and it also was an image. And what this means, for those of you who do not know what this means, if your phone number is not, if you can't copy and paste it, then it's an image. And that means that it's not being indexed by Google. Another thing, people really like the 512.435. If you use dots and somebody searches your phone number in dashes, it will not populate the dot phone number. So always populate in dashes. You can put the dot somewhere else or put it in an image so it won't index that way. But it needs to be also one-click call on mobile. All your phone numbers on your entire site need to be one-click call on mobile. It's really important. Okay? So let's go ahead and go through. So big gaps in this site right now, other than the visuals that we've already talked about. The tagline's not there. So you need to work with either a grading expert. This is definitely something you should spend some time and money on. which is to really hammer out your core value propositions and then take those and boil those down into one idea. What's the thing? For me, where I am mentally right now in this process is we're making your life better. We'll make your family's life better. Third on that is ROI, increasing the value of your home. And why is that? Because I want people to think about their families first, right? That feels good.
It's the emotional and then the logic don't follow with it.
Right, exactly. So I can't fit all that up there because that's going to be too many words. So I still have to work on boiling that down. But let's go ahead and go to bathroom remodeling because we're getting down on time bad.
Think that telephone clickable?
What?
Link to telephone clickable?
I'm not going to get into the code of it today, but anybody who knows how to do the stuff.
Yeah, so are you
can do
familiar with the mail too? So it's just TEL.
TEL colon. Yeah. There's some other ways to do it there, but that'll work on.
I had a friend one time, this was about 7 years ago when mobile was first really starting to hit, and he goes, well, I know what we can do. He goes to the you code people and love this. I think maybe you want. I don't know. You might hate it. You might hate me after this. I don't know what's going to happen. I've done my 80-20 bet. I will defend myself at least 80% of the time. He goes to Google Maps and did a look at the code on the page and just grabbed the code for the phone number because Google Maps is one-click call mobile. He just grabbed that and put it on the site that I was working on. I'm like, really? But they didn't have a I don't think they had the code back then. Okay, so tell me about this page. Anybody, reactions? Especially the people who don't know a lot about this stuff. I really want to hear what you think about this page. Fast.
It's a whole lot of text. You won't want to read everything.
Why don't you want to read it?
Because it looks hard and boring.
That's it. I tell people this all the time. When people look at a page of text, the first thing they're looking for is one word. And that's hope. They want to be able to believe that they're going to be able to get through this. What she just said, it's hard. They want easy, right? Okay, so what I've already started doing a little bit, but I stopped because I knew we were doing this today. See how this is larger, master bathroom remodeling? It says two things. First thing it does, it tells you a little bit, I can go down here and look at the bathroom. Huh? Yeah, I know. That's one of the things we're working on is H3 tags.
So I'm trying to track him down.
That was amazing.
That's like it's bright as
Yeah.
Are you going to tag me now and I get to go to that?
This is like some weird version of what's the thing called when you go to the red light and everybody gets out and fire drill. A Chinese American fire drill.
Oh, okay.
So what she just said is very important, and we're going to kind of wrap this up. I've got an SOP page, and I'll send it to you as one of the resources from today's meeting. We're going to have to wrap up pretty soon. This is an H3 tag. I use the H3 tag because I'm going to use one H2 at the top of the page. I might use one more H2, but I don't want to pile a bunch of H2 tags on here. There's only one H tag.
H2
Pardon?
to the non-H2 literate H2.
So on your WordPress page, when you are operating on your WordPress page, there's a little box top left, and it's in the WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get, WYSIWYG. It's really complicated. That's going to be a drop-down box. And the text that you're on, you can convert that to an H tag, and it gives you the list. They decrease in size, generally speaking. But this is where you have to have a code person. Because a code person will go in there and change the size of your H3 tag. But generally speaking, it's going to change it site-wide. I know there's some exceptions to that. What that means is, what I'm going to have my guy do, I'm going to say, hey, guy, this is not big enough, and it's not dark enough. It's not darker than the surrounding text. I want this to stand out. Because a lot of people, they're going to go on the page and they're going to do this. They're going to scan. And when they do that, I want them to pick up my main thoughts for this page. So my H3 tags are going to function as that, okay? I want them to be darker and larger than the surrounding text. If they're not large enough, you have to have a code person to go in and change how big those are, okay? So that's what she's talking about, and she's exactly right. So with my thought of only having one or two H2 tags per page, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a brand's world.
For SEO, it should be one H1 and multiple H2s, honestly.
How many H2s? Doesn't matter?
Up to 5 or 6 of those. But your H1 should be your headline.
Right.
That's your
Only
H2.
one
right.
H1.
So you get as many H2s as you need to split up the content properly.
Yeah.
You have to use
That-
bathroom remodeling 5 times in headlines.
So what he just said is probably the most important for most, even by developers. This is why developers a lot of times are not good for SEO. Your developer is going to make it pretty. Your SEO person is going to make it work. Okay. I see from really high-end developers, I go to their site, they'll have 35 H1 tags. H1 tag is the main thing Google or all search engines really look at and say this is what the page is about. And if you have more than one, that's the old way they used to spam pages. So it looks like spam and it can get you not. It doesn't always, but it can. So one H1 tag per page, okay? So, yes.
Go back to high school English. You can only have one main thing on a page.
Yeah.
You can have a few different points about that, and then
Right.
you can break it down beyond that.
Yes.
If you
Yeah.
would not have submitted this to your high school English teacher to follow along, it's probably not good for
What's
you.
the title of your paper? You
Exactly.
can't have 5 titles of your paper.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also, if you think about yeah.
Yeah.
So if you think about the adjective, adverb thing, I want a bathroom. I want it to be remodeled. What do I want to be better? What do I want to be better in a bathroom? No, I'm asking, what do I want to be better in my bathroom? Bathtub, shower.
Configuration.
We can say the word toilet, it's okay.
Sink,
I want a better toilet.
storage, whatever.
Storage.
Isn't her saying
Lighting.
Lighting.
Say it again.
You want to be dead.
Say it
Today.
again. You don't want to be
Every
today?
day.
No.
Safe paper.
You think Chardonnay.
So well weather. There's a fundamental question here.
Hit it.
What does he want people to do when they come to this page? What does the owner want them to do?
So, this is my thought, because this is like, so essentially the sales process is now kind of started over. Now the sales process is about bathroom remodeling. So this is the general page about bathroom remodeling. And I'm going to walk them through, I'm going to give them some examples, what it looks like. I'm
Is that
going
what
to
they're
give them,
looking for?
what?
They're looking for walk through and some examples.
I think so. I know I would be.
Most come in the home improvement space, all pretty much predominantly, and most of the clients, their customers are looking for photos. And
Yes, right.
But in what's step 5? What do you want them to do with step 5? What's the close on this page?
The closest contact,
Call,
either.
fill out a form.
So I have a customized form. So the form for this page is going to be about bathroom remodeling. And I might ask, what's the biggest problem you want to solve in your bathroom? I'm going to drop down.
And if they call, are they going to get a remodeled bathroom? So I'm going to call and then I'm going to get a remodeled bathroom.
No, first we'll answer, then we'll give them a bid.
So the bid is what they're looking for. So I'm looking for a quote.
Yes.
That's what's missing.
That's what she's
Okay.
saying.
You're not selling a quote
Okay.
process.
I was gonna ask Brian, sidebar, quote now.
No, sidebars are invisible. This page should be about three things to look for when getting a quote for that.
Okay.
And it should talk about the quote. It should talk about the employee that's going to be on the other end of the phone.
Okay, so for me,
Right.
that
It's
feels a
almost
little more
more
like a blog
expectations.
post. Now, let me walk through my whole idea here, and then you tell me what's wrong with it. So my first thought about that is 3 things to look for in a bathroom. I'm like, okay, so I've got to do that. That's a little bit harder to put my testimonials in. It's a little bit harder to walk through because for me, it's more than 3. So I might go at the top, bullet point list, tub, shower, storage, toilet, space. That might be my 5 things people want out of a bathroom remodeling project. And so then that's also going to become my H3 tags throughout the page, or H2 or whatever. But that gives people an idea of where we're going to go. And then I might say, tired of reading, want to call somebody now? And I'm going to have that high up on the page because some people are impulsive. They just want to call somebody.
They're looking for a quote. They don't really.
Yeah,
they really don't
they
care
don't really
about-
care about the rest, and I can tell you that that's true, because what you really need to do is go find 2 or 3 people that have literally just been through the process, like within the last
Sure.
45 days, I know someone. And because it isn't what you think it is.
Yeah, right.
I guarantee you, because when I started into it, I started doing the research, I wasn't looking for what I would have thought a client would have been looking for.
So
Once
let
I got
me
this-
stop this real fast, because here's the thing. This isn't about everything that's wrong with this individual page. This is about helping people understand how to build a page I totally get and confirm everything you said, but I want to speak a little bit more in that direction because some people in here aren't this far down the road. So I totally get where you're coming from. And I totally believe you because I think one of the biggest reason this is even here and functional and indexing is because what was there before was so bad and people are searching. So I had to have something up there. Believe it or not, that's better. The other page was that bad. It was a bifurcated checklist. Why it's good.
From an SEO standpoint.
No, from a conversion standpoint. It was horrible. It was so bad. So I had to have somewhere for somebody to go, yeah, this needs a lot of stuff. But what are the elements? And because there's so little, I'm going to summarize and you tell me if I got it wrong.
There's one key point.
Hit me.
You start with step 5. Whenever you start a page, you start
What do
with
they
whatever
want?
step 5 is.
I agree.
Whatever you're trying to drive them to do, and then you build back to where they're starting. That's the main point.
I totally agree, and that's what we talk about a lot is what's the problem they're trying to solve? What's the fastest way to get them there? One of the things that I believe firmly is you have different kinds of visitors that are going to be your buyers. Some of your buyers are, I want to call and get a quote now. Other kinds of buyers are more, I call them engineer types because in my opinion, that's like the far end of the scale. So I ain't calling anybody until I know what's going on. I'm going to read, I'm going to investigate, I'm going to find out about this marble and this stuff. Then I'm going to go to these other sites and learn about marble. Then I'm going to come back and call somebody. So you have to write your summary center.
So did that,
We don't know about that.
that call to actually get a quote, that should be front center on the home page, and if you know that some subset of target audience too.
Oh, the homepage?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
First
we're
thing,
working.
get a quote.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a
Which
client we did that with.
it kind of is. Have a remodeling question. Function does that now. We're changing that. We're going to put a button up there. But that's part of just the way, I don't want the search bar where that is. I want it more right, but that's just a lot of code that has to change. But what he's saying is, we know that some people are going to be, I want to go to this site, I want to look, oh, pretty pictures, get a quote. Probably at least half of your buyers are like that. They're driving their kids to school, and they should not be texting and driving, but they are. And they're looking, and they want to call somebody. So one click call, and a quote, getting ability. Bad grammar, but it works.
We did that with one of my clients, and they're converting 30% of the business. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
I've never seen this kind of conversion.
So one of the things that's both on this page and one of the ways that I approach this is, is by Leonard Bell, was the idea of progressive disclosure. One of the things that I think is wrong with this page is it tries to give me all the information on the first click. And knowing that the majority of customers only want to see a pretty picture and then get a quote, that this breaks it completely. If you want to talk the engineering types, make them click more. And the further they click, the more information they get.
What do you like to do? So let's talk about, from an SEO standpoint, we know that Google likes more content, okay? So if Google likes more content, how do you balance those two things?
We give the customer options on the page. By now, you can click for more.
Okay, but here's my question. If I have a page that has only 300 words of content because I'm not giving them a lot on this page, Google's not going to like that page as much as a page that has over 1,000 words.
But a click does not mean they're reading that page. They can just scroll down. Click and scroll down, right, just to another part on the same page. I'm pretty sure.
But even progressive disclosure works there. It's like you put the pretty pictures from the top.
Yes.
And then as you go further and further, it gets into more and more.
So pretty pictures, we talk a lot about pretty pictures. Brian, where should I put a picture? What's the best place to put a picture on a page?
So it's at the point where people are interested in the portfolio. So you start off by saying, we can call. You're going to talk to a knowledgeable designer. They're going to schedule a time for an in-home. We'll measure your space. We'll show you some salon. But no, I just wanted them to picture having that first meeting with you. That's what you're selling here.
Now, should I put all that on a quote page? So it says, get a quote
right here. I put it right here.
So that should be on the top. Let me ask this real fast. So remember, I've got bathroom remodeling, my main 4, bathroom remodeling, kitchen remodeling, hardwood floors, granite countertops. So I should have that at the top of every single one of those pages? So every time they click on any one of those, they're going to get the same experience at the beginning? That's my concern.
That makes sense for SEO, absolutely. You're still selling them.
Well, I'm talking about pure conversion. Because to me, if I saw the same thing at the top of all 4 pages, I wouldn't like that as much, but I'm not everybody.
I would put all 4 things on it.
Sorry, not looking for all 4 of the remodels.
I think this might be a little false separating it out that way. Because I may not just want them.
Okay.
So our remodel process, there may be a different way to do it.
Okay.
Is there a services page of those, or is it one of those pages? So you might need one more level.
a level on top of this that says these are all the things we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how to work with this is front and center on that page.
Right. Yes.
On the call to action buttons that I use, or the form that I use, I always put for a free quote and written design, or no, for free written quote and design consultation.
Okay.
So it explains what the process is.
And it sounds fancier, and we like fancy.
So that's what you're selling on this.
Right?
Yeah.
No. I'm saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's good. So I feel design consultation.
And written
Chardonnay.
quote, which is two things that they're needing.
Say again, the quote,
The
yes.
quote and somebody to walk them through the process, so that already puts them.
Now, would you put that in the header, or are you gonna put that on your page?
I put that in my call to, like, I have a call to action,
Sidebar?
well, it's, some of them sidebars, some of them are like little bit.
That should be what the page is about. It should be, our process starts with this. Bathroom storage. We'll talk to you about storage options, and we work with some of the best 10 bathroom bathtub options.
Yeah.
We can provide you options from simple bathtubs to walk-ins for the elderly.
Yeah.
But it is always pitching back to when you call us, when we meet with you, we're going to talk about storage and bathrooms, and toilets, and fixtures, and wallpaper, and tile, whatever you want to bring into the conversation. By the time I'm done, I've imagined all the things that are important to me in the context of somebody sitting across from me and answering my questions.
Yeah. So what he's talking about is building the core value proposition of that page all throughout the content, propagating it throughout the content. So he's essentially seeding the desired action and assuming that is the desired action of the client throughout that entire page. Right? Am I correct in that?
You don't talk about your company until you're trying to build trust.
Right.
It's
Validate.
about what you're trying to say.
Justify what.
Which is a meeting.
Hey, any final thoughts on this? We're way over time. I'm really.
Well, we're still waiting for checks.
Oh, wow. Does he know that you're waiting on checks?
Yeah, we got checks.
Just waiting for credit cards to come back. I
Okay.
get mine before I leave. Anyone else?
Yeah.
You what?
My credit card, I like my credit card.
I'm happy to hold going.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on this? Sales process. Amy, you haven't talked very much. So selling, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, so I'm not a web conversion specialist, so, but what I typically like to do is first identify the problem that they're experiencing that my solution can deliver. And I like to provide the logic that helps them justify their decision. So we have an emotional, not only at the front part, which I think you kind of said it differently. So,
Well, let me tell you what I did here, and Brian to speak to this relative to all the stuff that y'all just talked about. So I'm starting this with a story, very quick little snippet of a story. I'm so glad to finally have that horrible shower door replaced, exclaimed our customer recently when we finished a bathroom remodel. And so then I pitched the idea of, that horrible bathroom, that shower door that doesn't quite seal, it creaks and it's a little bit rusty. And I'm actually talking about the one at my house that my landlord won't replace. But, so I'm telling this story, and then I go into, it's the little things that our customers talk about. We may put a $5,000 Carrera marble top in the bathroom, but they talk about the fact that it solves this little problem for them.
the only thing I would add is I think you need broader examples of problems you solve, because that way you only got one bite of the apple. It's my shower door that I want, right? So I like to really come up with a larger list of very different problems that can solve, because now
Like a bullet point list, here's the top
shower door
10.
might not have been a problem for Stan,
Right.
but just
Right.
it's ugly, or I'm trying to increase my resale. So I think if you get too limited too early,
Sure.
you're going to lose that the other audience who might otherwise come to you.
Yeah, got it.
So that's
Story's a great way to start. That's
Yeah.
a powerful way to start.
Good.
One thing I want to chime in, I do agree with the story on that. What you're missing on this content is it's focused on functional versus differentiation. Any remodeler can say the same thing.
Sure.
They can say, I'll fix the bathroom, I'll move the toilet. Well, why are you better? And what is the experience you're going to sell me that's going to make me different?
So let's speak to that real fast. I totally agree. What Tommy's talking about, if you didn't hear it, he's saying what makes us better than all the other remodelers out there. Because essentially remodeling is a commodity business. What that means is there are a lot of people that to the customer are identical to you. No problem. They're identical to you in function. Okay, they're functionally identical. How are you going to separate that? I'll tell you my strategy. You tell me what you think about it. My first is starting with the story, so people identify with that. Get them to identify with the problem. Then, now this is my long-term. It's going to take a few months to involve this because I'm going to go talk to all their customers, or as many as I can. I'm going to flesh out these problems that they solved. Then I'm going to put that at the beginning, like of these little story snippets. Then I'll bullet point, like Amy said. I love that idea. I'm going to bullet point top 10 common problems. Then in the testimonial, I'm going to have the testimonial that says, they finally fixed my shower bill we had 15 years. I'm so happy. Next testimonial, they finally fixed that toilet placement that we struggled with for so long. See, that's not all the testimonial is going to be about. The testimonial is going to validate the problems that were solved. So does that answer your question?
Sort of, but I'm really looking more at the experience of working with you individually. To me,
Yeah, well, the testimonial is going to say that, though, isn't it? Do you agree?
It's the experience of the functional fix, but it's not of the actual interaction, the style you bring to them, and why you're.
Well, that's not all the testimonial is going to say. The testimonial is not going to say they fixed my shower.
Yeah,
It's going to say, we're so happy we hired these guys. They came in under budget. They were on time. Thank you so much. Okay. So, do you agree in that case that we speak to what you're talking about, or do you think it needs more?
It's getting a lot closer.
Okay. That's the
our
idea.
expectations for the interaction. To me, in a service business like this, that's part of what I will use to sell internet marketing services.
Right.
So here's why you're going to get better service from us.
I think
And so-
videos do a good job of doing some of this too.
So when you say video, do you mean like interview video?
Yeah, videos of the owner and or video testimonial or something.
Yeah.
Get to that.
That's a lot. I'll tell you, historically, I struggle to get people to do that. Number one, these guys are in Dallas, so it's a 4-hour drive for me to get up there and do it. Then I got to get people to reserve time to do me a favor. Really, that's what I'm asking you to do. Then I got to get people who are willing to put their face on camera, and that doesn't happen very often.
But the thing is, with our generation.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just a
that's,
long.
you want to watch a video. I don't want to read. I want to watch.
I totally agree with you on this side of the equation.
Yeah.
On the other side of the equation, it's one of the hardest things to get done.
And so that's a question that I have as somebody who's trying to convince this business owner. Your site looks like crap. No, this green is not good.
Yeah.
No, but I love that green. I want my site to be that green. It looks like baby vomit.
Piece of before or after you. What's the
How do you delicately insist that I'm the expert, I know what I'm talking about?
If you're talking about that, I'll tell you the easiest way to do that is to go, look, first thing I want to do, I love that you love your site. I'm one person, I could be wrong. What I would like to do, thank you so much, what I would like to do is to go interview 20 cold people who are your audience.
Okay.
So I've already done the work, Mr. or Mrs. Customer. I've already done the work of investigating your demo. Before you even hired me, I've done, as part of my process, I've gone out and learned who these people are. I want to identify 20 potential buyers for you, and I want to go cold interview them about your site. And I would like to take that feedback and integrate it into your site. Are you willing to do that? Get them to commit and say yes.
Okay.
Getting people to self-identify and getting them to say yes to anything. So one of the things I'll say, I'll know they're a perfect buyer. I'll know they're a perfect buyer. But I will say, Carlos, I've heard you say that you like pizza. Is that correct? Did I get that right?
Absolutely.
All right. And we're going over to Manji. They're one of the highest rated pizza places in Austin. I think that's going to get you what you want. Am I correct?
Maybe.
Okay, I need a harder yes than that, Carlos. I got pizza. I got one of the hardest. I got one of the highest rated pizza joints in Austin. I think that's going to get it, won't it? You think? No? Okay, let's pick them up.
Are they gluten free?
No, they are not.
Okay. Well, then, screw it.
So that's what I'm going to get them to do. I want to get them to say yes on a couple things, especially this is client negotiations, a little different animal. If people give me pushback, the first thing I want to do is walk back and get them to tell me why they even had this meeting today. Why am I here? Once I get down into that ditch and I'm battling why, I'm not going to prove anything.
Yeah.
I've got a whole host of stuff that I've done for people.
Yeah.
I brought my skins to the wall. Sorry. But I brought my skins to the wall in the room, and you called this meeting.
Yeah.
So now, if I begged my way into the room the whole way down, that's a hard thing to say. But if the whole way down I've gone, hey, is this what you want? I think this is a problem you have. Is this a problem you have? Do you want to solve it? Great, let's set a meeting. We're in the meeting. this is the problem you said you wanted to solve. This is the solution. You don't want to do it. Let's talk about why.
Okay,
It's all on them, right?
right.
So that's the way to get them to agree to do hard stuff, you know. But when you let them go, this is my site, I love it, you're telling me things bad about it, that's a different conversation that I don't want to be having. What I want to be saying is, there's a reason your customers are not buying from you. Let's talk about that. Because that's their biggest pain, right? Yeah, so, any other questions, thoughts? Yes?
My biggest challenge, my conversion goes way up when I'm speaking, I guess everybody knows. Speaking to them versus like emailing, what does this cost, or whatever.
Are your numbers the same?
To get them to, say it again?
Are your numbers, okay, let me ask it a different way. So you're saying your conversion numbers go up?
Yeah, no, they want to email, how much does this cost? Well, I say, well, what's the cost? It's a quick phone call, quick phone call, make it not so painful. We get a little more information, I can explain the whole process. I'm trying to give them a reason why I make a quick phone call. So I can have it bought just because you call me. We talk on the phone. It's like, well, what is this about? They want to email 10 times back and forth. And I can't really.
Honestly, the best thing to do there is call a professional in, and you need a professional look at your sales process.
Yeah,
Because
well,
probably would it, go ahead, I'm sorry.
What you're speaking to, Kyle, earlier was you gotta go for the no. I think those people want to work with names. If they're just going to get quote, like, I don't know.
Yeah, but what he's saying is there's multiple emails going back and forth.
Yeah.
And to me, the first thing that says is there's fuzzy definitions throughout the process.
Or there's a trust issue.
I think if they're already calling and there's trust there, they want to know information and they're sticking through 10 emails. So there's trust there. What's happening though is the information, maybe the value proposition is not there. Maybe there's not enough information that's clear in the email. But honestly, that's where, and I'm not saying it because it's me, because there was 10 other people in the room that you could call. Some are a lot more expensive than me, but this is where how much is your time worth? Always think
Probably read emails.
Say it again. What do you
He
say?
reads emails, that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, I always think about it like this. I value my time at a minimum of $200 an hour. Everybody should. If you're in a small business, you should value your time at a minimum of $200 an hour. Would I pay somebody $200 to do this thing that I'm doing? That's an easy definition. If you're trying to figure out your sales process and you've tried several times and it's not sticking, you've spent 15 hours on it. So you've paid somebody $3,000 to fix that problem that has not been fixed. That's the way to think about it. That's the way I think about it. Because I need a personal assistant right now. I don't want to hire one. But I know. So I'm like, would I pay somebody $200 an hour to continually fail at what I'm doing? You sound like you guys.
that.
No, that's
Okay. I saw like the moment of speaking.
No, that's great. Yeah.
It's an easy way to reorganize your thinking because we all get in the weeds. Yeah. Anybody else? Any thoughts, questions, answers, conundrums? All right. Thank you all for sticking so long. I really appreciate you guys. Like how I started my own applause there. Thank you so much.
That's great.
Love laughing out. Gee.
Probably do. Yep.
Kyle,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming out.
Cool, man.
Sure.
I was like, whatever.
He's always busy, he's doing something.
Yeah.
He's always somewhere.
All my goals become like
I can't.
conference man. We speak a lot of comments. So okay.
I like it.
Everybody can use this.
Okay. No, I've got a shitty website, so I mean, you know what's interesting? You said electric mobile, and I actually decided while we were doing that, I worked on the website on my mobile. It's just like, you know, so it's that kind of stuff. Like, wow, what happened here? I got a little friendly. And like, my whole like, here's the services. Straight to like, into the association. Are you a startup? It's like, it tells you we're working to it, just anything. It's like, that kind of stuff. I'm like, I've been that for a while.
Thank you. That's great. Thanks. I appreciate it very much. Thanks for coming. Yeah.
So go figure.
Happy to do it all right. I do always do it very stuff.
Oh, sure.
We can take a look at it, so we can lay it out.
Sure.
I have your
Probably the-
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks so much. Oh, dude, it's awesome. It's awesome. You did the thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, they can
Can I order?
Fine, what do you have? What's fast? Skinny pizza, okay. White meat, and salad, soup, fries. What's the soup? Tomato basil. All right, man.
They need to prove that. That like there's people in the bar. Talking about both you guys are kind of in business and stuff, so he's a really interesting conversation. Ray, he took this place over. Really bad branding, really bad everything. Like I was saying to him, 2 years branded, little stuff like that. Cups or branded, because they just have styrofoam cups. And that and a bunch of other stuff. He's just you guys look like you're at home.
We are. I want to introduce Miss Hillary.
They're interesting.
Yes, you look familiar. Probably have seen you at network.
I am Shani. Shani.
Pleasure. Meet you.
Good friend.
Yeah.
She married my best friend